Pakistan is among hidden treasures for the tourists, with a wide range of touristic attractions in terms of seasons, regions, and interests. The country has a lot to offer. Ranked as number one touristic destination by the British Backpackers Association since 2019 and among the top 10 destinations for 2020 and 2021 by the Forbes magazine, the country has seen an increase in the flow of tourists to Pakistan. At the same time, the government also relaxed visa policy, and now online visas are issued to tourists who want to visit Pakistan for tourism. Today we have pleasure to speak to Mr. Mubarik Hussain, who established his tourism company in 1992 and has been organizing adventure tours for the last 30 years. Mubarik himself also scaled K2 in 1984 and served as mountain guide before setting up his company. Welcome to the program, Mubarik Hussain. You have been in the profession of tourism for the last about 30 years now. How would you describe the touristic potential of Pakistan, particularly in terms of diversity of seasons and diversity of interests and that of regions? Because Pakistan is so diversified, how would you describe its potential?
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum. Pakistan is a very diverse country, and we are very lucky. It's a very unique. We have mountain ranges. We have a very much, diverse cultures. We have. First of all, I will mention to you because why Pakistan is the best for the tourist. The first thing is we are very lucky. We have 8,000 meter mountains out of 14 in Pakistan, and the K2 8,611, which is the second highest mountain in the world, and the next to the K2 is the Broad Peak 8,047, and the Gasherbrum 1, which is 8,068, and the Gasherbrum 2, it's 8,035. These four are located at the Baltoro Glacier on the border of China. And our fifth 8,000 meter mountain is Nanga Parbat, which is 8,125 meters. That is in Western Himalaya. This is, we have the 8,000 meter mountains. So in the Hindu Kush, because we have a Himalaya, we have a Karakoram and the Hindu Kush ranges. And the Hindu Kush is the highest mountain is Tirichmir, which is 7,708 meters. So that is one of the famous mountain in Hindu Kush and the highest mountain. And the other thing, these are the mountains, and we have 72 kilometers of Gilgit-Baltistan and the square kilometers of Gilgit-Baltistan, which every valley, and in Gilgit-Baltistan is the Baltistan, which is all these 8,000 meter mountains, and the Gilgit and the Hunza and Nagar and the Diamir and the Astor, and we have a Ghizir Valley. Ghizir is the valley of lakes and mountains. And the Diamar is very famous for the fairy meadows and the Nanga Parbat. And we have Astor Valley, which is very beautiful and very rare, is the Nilam, the Ratu Valley, and the Tarishing from the eastern side of the Parbat. And we have the highest 3,000 meter long, 100 long plateau of Divasai, which is very famous for the wildlife and the very rare the species, and we have a very edelweiss flowers on the top of the diversified plateau. And then we have a Hunza and Nagar. Hunza is a very famous because in Eric Shepton in 1890, he mentioned in a book of between Oxus and Indus, is the Shangri-La, the most peaceful place on earth. And the Hunza is very lucky to having a Silk Route, the old Silk Route from Asia to the subcontinent. And in old times, the people from the Central Asia, they came along the Silk Route to the subcontinent through this Hunza. And now in the next coming generations, we have a flow of tourists from China because of the China-Pakistan economic corridor is building from China all the way to Gwadar. So these are the mountainous adventure travels, and we have so many trekking and hiking places, the glaciers. In Hunza, we have a Batura Glacier, which is 64 kilometer glacier from Karakoram Highway to the Central Asia to Wakhan Corridor. So that is the longest glacier in Hunza. And we have the eighth wonder of the world is the Karakoram Highway, which is 806 long Karakoram Highway, which is put eighth wonder of the world. And these days we have very lucky, we have in the summer, people from June to end of October travel over the Kagan Valley to the Gilgit-Baltistan, over the Babusar Pass, which is 13,500 meter high pass, and closes in the winter, only they open in the summer. So these are the Gilgit-Baltistan introduction, and the people who visit our areas mostly in summer, and I request them to be our people in Gilgit-Baltistan, especially in Hunza. They are very friendly, and they are our Hunza people are so much friendly with the tourists, and we expect the Hunza people also expect the tourists should be very friendly with the people, and they should do the sustainable tourism in Hunza.
So there is a lot of potential. There is lot of there are a lot of places to offer to tourists, and there is so much of beauty. There is so much of adventure. But another thing that counts in tourism is about facilities. How would you rate facilities available for tourists in Pakistan, and are there sufficient facilities? And when the foreign tourists visit Pakistan, are they happy about these facilities or not? Because you are in this field, can you explain a little bit about this aspect?
I mean, we are, because of the terrorism in the country for the last decade, not very much in tourism, and we were tourism sector was so much suffered in the country, and we are grateful to our military and our new political system here, and the Prime Minister at the moment, Imran Khan, who is very keen to promote tourism in the country, and speaks even when he goes to United Nations, he speaks there as well about tourism. And the Pakistan definitely desperate for more tourists to our country to introduce them. And the facilities we have is not really at the moment not sufficient for the bulk of the tourists here in the country. But present government, we are working with the different countries for the investment in hotels, 5-star, 3-star, 4-star hotels to build in our country, and many investors from all over the world, especially the Turkish people, and the Chinese people, they are very much interested, and the government is doing a MOU to build the hotels in the country. At the moment, we have the tourist destinations like Naran, Kagan, and Hunza, Skardo, these places, the local people are developing the infrastructure, the hotels, and developing the services of for the tourist. And we are very much in Pakistan, there is no service academy for service hospitality services, and the people who learn themselves with the span of the time with the tourist. So we are, definitely at the moment we have about 3 million tourists. They visited Gilgit-Baltistan, domestic tourists in Gilgit-Baltistan in 2019. And this year we have about 2.5 million people they visit. And the PIA was very kind enough, and they did very well. And they have one day we had 14 flights from all over Pakistan landed in Skardo. And in Delhi, about 5-6 flights going to Skardo airport. And Skardo is full of domestic tourism. It's a direct flight from Karachi, from Multan, from Lahore, from Faisalabad, even from Sialkot, and Islamabad is as usual. We have flights. And the infrastructure at the moment, the local government in Gilgit-Baltistan is trying very hard to develop the infrastructure to take the tourists into the valleys. Because at the moment we have a few roads where the tourists are driving through, but are very splendid and beautiful exotic valleys. And they need to be developed the infrastructure to show to our tourists in the country.
Okay, great. I mean, you have pointed out a very pertinent point that trainings and institutes are required to promote tourism in Pakistan. Probably that will be a very important thing that government should be focusing on. And during the COVID time, was tourism affected in Pakistan, particularly the mountaineering side, or there was no effect on the on mountaineering?
We were like worldwide, Pakistan was very much affected with the tourism, and tourism people were they were, in really difficult times because there were no tourists. Even we don't have a domestic tourism was blocked during the COVID. But thanks God, this year, 2020 was a very bad year for the country in tourism, in every sector, but especially for the tourism sector. And the government of Pakistan did a great job that started online visa for the international tourist. And that helps a lot for the tourist, and they're just sitting at home, they apply for the visa, and they get a visa in a week time or less than a week. They just get a visa for Pakistan. And they improved so very much in 2019. And 2020, because of COVID, the international tourism became hardly, we have maybe 1% or 2%. There somebody just came. Otherwise, it was totally finished in 2020. But luckily, 2021, we have more international business started again. And mostly our mountaineers, they have, we had this year about 7 climbing expedition went to K2. And there was about 5 expeditions went to Broad Peak, and vice versa. Is altogether we have about 42 climbing expedition came to Pakistan. Usually we have a range of mountaineering expeditions is about from 85 to 110 climbing expeditions. They used to come in a normal situation for Pakistan. And they bring a lot of foreign exchange for the country. Although we because of the tourism, our income is in a GDP, it was about 4.9%. But in 2019, it increased up to 9% in GDP. So our, our 6.9% of the jobs in Pakistan overall was in a service industry related with the tourism. But because in 2019, it was a boom in tourism in Pakistan, it went up to 13% of the jobs for the in tourism sector for the people. And then we have more people because of this, our unique landscape and diverse cultures. And this is the best country for the world for the travelers. Is we have a 5,000 BC Mohenjo-daro. We have a 7,000 BC of Mehergarh in Balochistan. We have 2,000 of the other Gandhara civilization we have, and we have Indus civilization, and we have Nankana Sahib, which is for religious tourism in the country. Yes. So so many. We have a Mughal Empire history. We have the Buddhism. The Buddhism main monasteries was the first monastery of the Buddhism was Taxila. The Taxila was the main, for the Muslim it was Makkah, and for the Buddhist is the Taxila is the Makkah for Buddhism. And we have a Takht Bai and the Swat Valley and all these the beautiful diverse cultures is make Pakistan a very beautiful and diverse country for the tourist.
Yeah, so with so much of diversity of cultural and religious heritage and so much of scenic beauty, and it's scattered all over Pakistan, like the Mughal civilization in Punjab and these old civilizations in Sindh, and then we have also some very beautiful beaches in Balochistan, and the northern area, of course, stands out. So you see a lot of potential is there, and hopefully, and it is very encouraging to see that it was rising like from 4% to 13%, and yes. Unfortunately, COVID struck and it affected the entire world. But hopefully things will pick up, as you pointed out that in 2021, their expeditions have started coming back again, and domestic tourists also visited northern areas, and there was like a lot of business has again picked up. But in your view, why you think that Pakistan is really unique that tourists would like to come here? What is so unique about Pakistan?
Pakistan, because I traveled worldwide, maybe half of the world I traveled, but Pakistan is one of the best country because we have you can see the temperature from 50 to minus 50 in one time. Yeah. And then country in the world which has so much difference in one country. If you go to base camp, it's minus 50 there. And if you go to Balochistan, it's 50 temperature there. And apart from that, because we are amalgamated with many different religions, many cultures. This is just not one country. This is a country of countries. We have beaches, the beautiful beaches of Balochistan, which is in the world. There's the sand of the Balochistan beaches is like a silk, and there is a very shallow beaches for the about 2-3 kilometers into the sea, so people can just swim inside. And the future we are the government is building the coastal highway from Karachi all the way on Gawad, and the new thing developing in Balochistan is Gawadar. But the thing is, we are consist of 5 provinces now with Gilgit-Baltistan and Azad Kashmir. So every province has their own language, own culture, and the the Sindh province is full of ancient civilization and culture. And when we come to the Punjab, Punjab is a Mughal Empire. And maybe you know, from the Lahore fort to Delhi is underground. In a Mughal time. It was a 300 miles long tunnel, which Mughal kings used to go for hiding from Delhi to Lahore. So at the moment that is hidden, and they are, if the relation between India and Pakistan goes well, that will be operational, hopefully. And other than that, we have a unique mountain range. I mean, there is no country who have such a unique mountain range. And Pakistan is very blessed and very lucky. We have such a different lakes, mountains, and we have beaches. We have a history. We have a religious tourism. We have a very much interest for the Sikh pilgrimage. We have very interest for the Buddhism. The Pakistan is the best for the Islamic religious tours. And on the top, we have the best place for the adventure travel. I mean, that's why the Pakistan is very unique apart from the other countries. So we are and that's why these international magazines and the organization put Pakistan #1 destination for the next decade.
Yeah, that's very encouraging and very happy to hear all that. And are you happy with the policies of the present government for promoting tourism, particularly the ecotourism, and their government is focused on many things?
I mean, this is, we are very lucky in the people in tourism related people in the country. They are very happy with our Prime Minister, who is very keen to develop tourism in the country. I mean, since, this online visa system started, we have so much tourists. They just buy the visa online and they just come. And 2019, we have about, in the total government figures, statistically 1.2 million international tourists arrived to Pakistan because of the easy visa system. So this is the best thing happened the people in the tourism field. They were requesting for the government for the long term. This was their demand. So this present government has just applied this one. So we are very happy with this online system.
Okay, thank you very much, Mubarik Saab, and we wish you very best in the promotion of tourism in Pakistan, and hopefully as the COVID situation will improve, more and more tourists will come to Pakistan. And thank you very much for giving us time.
Thank you very much.